أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. You know, in Sūrah al-Baqarah, right after the verses that anchor our hearts in remembrance and turn us towards the Qibla, the Qur'an poses a profound and deeply personal question.
And this isn't just some hypothetical question. It's really the essential challenge that comes right after every sincere turn towards the divine. Think about it. Our guidance, our faith, it isn't truly tested when life is easy and everything's going our way. It's tested under pressure, when our faith actually costs us something. And this is the core shift in perspective that these verses offer us. It's a complete reframing of suffering. The Qur'an takes loss, pain, and hardship and tells us they aren't just random interruptions to an otherwise happy life. No, instead, they become the very curriculum through which our commitment, our fidelity, is taught and deepened.
So, let's begin by looking at the explicit guidance here, what we might call the outer or the Ẓāhir meaning of these verses. How does the Quran actually build this curriculum for us step by step?
So the very first instruction is a call to gather our resources, patience and prayer. And listen to the promise here. It's not that the hardship will be taken away. It's something so much more profound, divine companionship within the hardship. Allah is with the patient, right there in the middle of the trial.
The next verse does something amazing. Before even addressing our feelings, the Quran corrects our language, our perception of the ultimate loss, death in God's path. We're told, don't even say they are dead. It's not an end, it's a transition to a life our senses just can't grasp. The problem isn't their state, it's our limited perception.
And here, the curriculum is laid out for us plain and simple. God tells us directly, we will test you. The tests will touch on everything, our inner fears, our physical needs, our external possessions. But notice the incredible mercy here. It says with something of fear and hunger, implying the tests are partial, not all-consuming. And the key that unlocks the glad tidings? It's patience.
So what is it that the patient actually do? They say these words, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. But here's the crucial part. This isn't some statement of passive defeat. It is a powerful, active reorientation. In the very moment of loss, it's a declaration that we let go of this false idea that we own anything, and we reaffirm where we are ultimately headed. It places the entire experience back into a framework of meaning.
And this is the result. This is the graduation, you could say. Guidance here isn't about knowing more facts or having all the answers. It's about receiving divine attention, blessings, and mercy. It's God responding to our fidelity, to our choice to stay present with Him, by turning His regard towards us. Mercy comes because the heart did not run away.
All right, so we've explored the outer architecture of these verses. Now let's go a little deeper. Let's turn to the inner, the batin meaning. What is the spiritual essence of this patience, this sabr, that the Quran values so highly?
You know, from a Sufi perspective, sabr is not just gritting your teeth and enduring something painful. It's an active, relational state. It's a conscious choice to hold on to your fidelity, to refuse to turn away from God's presence, especially when every fiber of your being is screaming for you to escape the pain.
The great spiritual master al-Qushayrī puts it so beautifully. He says, it's not about how strong you are. It's about your loyalty in that moment of trial. Pain, you see, sends us an invitation to escape, to forget, to become bitter. And sabr is simply refusing that invitation and choosing to stay with the one who is with you in the pain. And Rumi gives us another profound piece of wisdom. He tells us that the pain itself is not what breaks our faith. It's our avoidance of it, our turning away from the wound, that creates the distance. The wound itself, that place of breaking, can become the very entry point for divine light and healing, if we can just learn to stay present with it.
And this is fascinating. In the mystical tradition of numerology, the very letters of the word sabr, sad, ba, and ra reveal its function. Their numerical values ultimately reduce to the number 4, which in sacred geometry is a symbol of stability, of being grounded. It's a beautiful symbol that tells us that the very function of sabr is to stabilize the heart when the storms of life threaten to capsize it.
So, that's the wisdom. But how do we actually live this? How do we take this profound understanding and build it into the architecture of our own hearts, our own lives?
When loss comes, and it will come, O seeker, for all of us, the first invitation is not to rush. Don't rush to escape it, or numb it, or explain it all away. First, simply pause.
Just create a little bit of space between what happened and how you react. A moment of stillness before the storm inside begins.
And in that quiet pause, consciously name your ultimate reality. Remind your heart where it truly belongs, where its true home is.
And then articulate that belonging. But when you say these sacred words, try to say them not as a conditioned reflex, not just as something we say at funerals,
but say them as an act of homecoming. Feel the truth of it in your bones. We belong to God, and in this moment of apparent loss, we are simply being reminded of the path of our return to Him.
O companion of the broken, do not let loss make us forget you. Teach us how to stay when everything else departs. Amin.
This short explainer was compiled with deep gratitude by Mir Ali Shah, a fellow seeker sharing through the living the wisdom of the Quran. We ask for your prayers and, of course, for forgiveness for any AI-related mispronunciations or errors, and we just pray that this reflection is accepted. Peace be with you.